Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. Today we're going to be doing some abyssal experimentation with specifically alpha clones. This is some high tier abyss stuff. I want to try to see if I can find the best type or some optimal types of high tier abyss running for alpha clones. This is something that I never really advise. I usually always advise people who are doing like T5 or T6 abyss, even T4 abyss, to go with Omega, because really, when you go above T3, it just gets so much harder, and the little extra you get from the skills in an Omega clone really helps. You get so much more DPS, you get access to better implants as well that can really help your tank as well. Overall, your stats are just so much. There's like that little extra boost. It's not that your stats are not like that much bigger than alpha clones. They are better, but not that much better. But that little extra that Omega clones get in terms of stats, tank, DPS really pushes the Omegas to the point where they're able to do T5 and T6, while alpha clones really have big problems doing that. But here in this video, I wanted to show with you guys and go through you guys a bit of like an experiment, just to sort of come up with some fit for some T5 abyssal dead space, because I think maybe T6 is a bit hardcore to start off straight away. So what I want to basically do here is find some alpha-friendly T5 abyss fits. And these are not meant for like basic alpha clones. When I say alpha clones, I mean like a maxed out alpha clone. My account here, Augmentor, he has trained every single alpha clone skill, no omega skills that like affect ship capability. So he is pretty much maxed on their alpha clones. He can use only alpha clone implants, only alpha clone modules, and only the like gunnery and missile skills, drone, etc., the damage skills and tank skills that are the level of alpha clone skills. He has, however, got PI trained. That's the only thing that is not alpha clone, but everything when it comes to his ship capabilities is alpha clone. And here we're not going to hold back in terms of the bling. We're going to try to bling this as hard as we can to be able to allow him to run the T5 Abyss. That's what I'm going. That's the goal here. We want to see if we can find some T5 Abyss running for alpha clones, because T4 is like a bit iffy. You can do it. It's difficult. T3 is like, I would say, the optimal, like highest tier for alpha clones. But here we're going to try to find a bling fit for T5. And what I'm going to use to find this is the program here called Pithum. It's really a very bright program here. So apologies for people who get a bit of a blinding light in their eyes right here. But we're going to try with a basic Gila fit. And the thing is here, look, I said before that DPS is hard to come by when you're an alpha clone. So we're going to have to think about time here. Time, abyss in time is a thing. Like, you've got 21 minutes max. If you don't have enough DPS, you can't do the site in time. So that's why time is going to be a bit of a focus here. Now, when it comes to the filament, I'm going to try to do, I want to, in this case, my idea here is to focus on T5 Exotic, because T5 Exotic is a very good filament for time. You don't have any bonus to, like, the armor or shield capabilities of the enemy ships, and you also just have overall good DPS with the kinetic damage from the Gila. So the NPCs are going to go down very quickly because the kinetic resistance is reduced, unlike an electrical site where EM resistance is reduced, but your missiles on the Gila are not bonus in EM missiles. It's only kinetic and thermal. So we're going to go with a fit for T5 Exotic right here. Another reason I want to go for T5 Exotic and not T5 Firestorm is because the Firestorm can be very deadly. The amount of thermal resistance you have is greatly reduced there, and that's very deadly because a lot of dangerous abyssal waves have very high thermal resistance. Like if we go here, NPC Abyssal, all, you see this is like sort of like the average resist type you get in here. We can see there's a big bias towards thermal resist right here, and it's definitely noticeable because like in the Conquered waves, the Triglavian waves do a ton of damage. Those all have majority thermal damage right there. Another reason why we're going to go for specifically T5 Exotic is because they have a decent amount of like ISK per site run. I mean, it's not that crazy. You see here, I mean, it's one of the lower ones if we go here, but it's still better than these electricals, because the thing is, the filament price on the T5 Exotics is quite high, but not as high as the electrics, and you get, I mean, a decent amount of ISK from the T5 Exotics on average. These all right here, there runs from on average 100 cruiser abyssal size. So this here, 80 million, is the average you get from 100 T5 dark abyssal cruiser runs. 100 of them is 80 million is the amount of loot you get. And it has to do, the varying amounts, a bit to do with mutaplasmids, a bit to do with the composition of the Triglavian survey data. That's why you get a bit of different loot values. And also it can be a bit of like, it's not super scientific right here. I mean, 100 runs is 100 runs. There could be some very like, lucky drops right there, But you do see significant differences, especially in T6. You see that always T6's exotic is a lot worse than the other ones. But in T5 exotic, it's not that bad. I mean, it is on the low end, but not that bad if we compare it to like electric, for example. So we're going to go for T5 exotic. I'm going to start up here. So we're going to start doing the skills. That's what we have to do. Agro Bruto is my character right here. And we're going to add a Abyssal Weather Exotic Particle Storm 3. There we go. Now we're going to go with this basic Rapid Light Missile Launchers. Going to add all these guys right here. And we go Large Cap Battery. Republic Fleet Large Cap Battery. We're going to add one of these. Drone Link Augment is also really good to have. I see here. Okay, we'll try first with like max bling. Then we're going to see where we can go from there. So 10 MN. Maybe put like a C-type Corelum one right here. And then we'll go with medium shield. We'll go with the A-type then, like a max bling. Pithum A-type medium shield booster. And then we go with multi-spectrum shield hardener. Pithum A-type. This is, as I said before, max bling, and then we'll see if we can go down from there. And then we'll go with like a large cap bat. Actually, we'll go with Thucker and then a Theorycraft here because we don't have enough power grid to spare. Okay, we don't even have enough power grid to spare like this. Theorycraft. Okay, just enough of this power grid right there. Drone damage amplifier. Imperial Navy. Oof, it's overloaded just about here. Maybe a 10 MN. There's a bit more, less power grid hungry. We've got the Corelum C-type one here that uses 50 power grid. Is there anything that uses more? This analog booster, compact. Ugh, cutting it very close. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe could even downgrade some of these rapid light missile launches. But the skills are at least here. Okay, when it comes to the drones, we're going to use Vespa, Caldari Navy Vespas. Important to have these guys. Because we can't use the Tech 2 ones, so we'll have to use the Caldari Navy ones. And our tank is not that great. 267 HP per second. It's alright that we got low kinetic resist because that is like one of the most really useless resist types to use in the Abyss. But we'll go with the rigs first. Okay, let's do it with the Solidifier. Call it Solidifier 2. Capacitor control circuits. Something like this maybe. No, it's not enough. We'll go with the Solidifier 1 instead. Solidifier 1. Okay. Now we'll go with the high-grade crystal. Now the thing is, with high-grade crystals, there are some skill requirements, and the skill science 2. Because when we go up the implant set, it's going to be a little bit different. Science 2 is also in high-grade crystal beta. Cybernetics 3 here. So because the amount of alpha clone skill you have is actually the Cybernetics 3, I believe. Oh, this is trained to 5 because my character has like training implants in. But if I was an alpha clone, it would be only allowed to be, I think. Yeah, here in the Eve Uni, you can see Cybernetics 3 is the max allowed. Like the reason I've got a level 5 is because I've got these training implants that allow me to train stuff because I use this account otherwise as a skill farm. So that's why I've got those. But we'll go with then, okay, this has requirements Cybernetics 3. So we'll be able to use Gamma, Delta, Cybernetics 3 as well. This is Cybernetics 4, we won't be able to use it. And this is Cybernetics 5, yeah. What about the mid-grade? We can see here. Mid-grade crystal Epsilon. 4, same thing. Alright, so these are the 4 implants then we're going to be able to use because we're limited these implants because of the alpha clone. You can see here, this is a big cut off. Like, we're not able to use as much tank, not only because our just general skills are worse, that we're going to be tanking less, but also because we're able to use less implants, which greatly affect our tanking capabilities. What we could do is perhaps put another solidifier or a thermal shield reinforcer. These are very useful in the Abyss because of just how the thermal resist is a really, really important resist type with these deadly waves. It's not even that much resist we get, to be honest, and I think it has maybe to do a bit with our skills. What we can see here is that we've got 400 HP per second. This would be perfect for T4 exotics. T5, however, I think this would be a bit problematic. We can even go in the uniform right here, because I even had before on the Abyssal one. There's more bias towards thermal. It's even worse, actually. So this is not even a really good tank at all, to be honest. I'm quite disappointed with this. And to be honest, what I think would be better here is that we, instead of going the active tank like we've got now, we probably should go passive tank, to be honest, because the DPS tank we have is not that great. We could use this, but this is like max bling we're talking about. We're using a Pithum A-type medium shield boost. This is not a good sign right here. So we could try like this instead. Purger, no, not, we type extend 2, and we just remove all these rigs. Medium core shield extender, and then what we do is we maybe have one cat battery, remove these modules right here, and then we have a large shield extender. In fact, no, we don't even have this Pithum multispectrum and cat batteries, which remove all these modules except for the Afterburner, because we're going to use a nuke proof fit. I think that'll be a better idea, because what we can do here is then thermal shield reinforcer, no, thermal shield hardener, I mean, because thermal shield amplifier. Oh, there's a bit of a lot of terminology we got, but the reason is because if we put this, we have some decent amount of shielding, passive shielding, and then we also have very big HP pool and a bit of a thermal bias as well, which is exactly what we need in the abyssal sites. So we've got good shields like this. Now, instead of this crystals, we can put some Nirvana ones. And let's see, Nirvana. And we can put high grade Nirvana. Implant set, attributes, requirements, cybernetics 2. So I think it's the same. We'll try doing this. I think it's the same pattern. Cybernetics 3, Epsilon is Cybernetics 4, exactly. Okay, so we've got 63k EHP buffer. I would say it's pretty decent, because we will be able to get through the sites very a decent amount of pace. I would like to go hybrid tank, because it would be beneficial, because we would have like this inherent ability to like have more tank with an active hardener, and also a booster will be nice to have. So we might even try this medium shield booster. We'll try going hybrid tank. Let's see if it's possible. Pithum A-type medium shield booster. Then we go with a large cap battery. Large cap. Republic Fleet large cap battery. Not the power grid is not there. Remove this. Yeah, okay. Now we put a multi-spectrum. Yeah, our capacity is not good at all. This is a bit problematic right here. You can see our capacity is like in the toilet right here. 43k HP instead of 60k HP. I mean, it's decent. We get a lot bigger boost rate here. We would have to solve the capacitor problem somehow, though. I think I'll actually go just full passive, because the like skill you have as an alpha clones are also a lot worse in terms of like just overall capacitor skills. So we'll have big problems there. I think this will be a better way to go. 63k EHP. We'll have to obviously pilot decently to not like take too much damage from stuff that does EM damage and kinetic damage like a rogue drone battleship, but I think we'll try this. I think this would be a good idea to try this. DPS is not too crazy either, 640 DPS. It is, however, more than you would find in like gamma sites, because you use the Valkyries there, they have really bad DPS. This is more than that. Okay, so we buy these here in the test server. Test this out. I'm quite curious how decently this fares with those high grade Nirvanas. Let's just see here, what kind of implants have I got in my clone right now? No augmentations, okay. Okay, so 73k EHP right there. And what we could use is get some basic like implants. So this is the shield operation 003. These are pretty good to have for passive tanks. Field management. These two implants here, pretty basic. And help a bit with your shield capabilities. Let's jump into the abyss. T5 exotic. It would probably be better to go for T5 Gamma, to be honest, at this point where we're using this type of fit, but I feel like we'll be a lot quicker in terms of time, because alpha clones are very limited on time. So it'll be good to go with the exotics, because you don't have that really big boost of the enemy's shields, and then also the kinetic drones, they do have more damage than the explosive based drones. Otherwise, in my T5 Gamma spreadsheet right here, it does earn a bit more than, or quite a bit more than T5 exotic, so it could be worth. Chaotic exotic. Alright, so this is the basic sleeper cruiser wave. See how quickly we do this, because this will give us a good idea of time. Split drones. Have missiles do their thing. A pretty crap rage with the Fury missiles. If we do this room pretty quickly, then it will say a lot about like speed, because I mean this is one of the longer waves you can encounter. Keep it at range here at 500. Tank seems to be alright. I mean we have a massive buffer. Not that sleeper cruiser waves anyway are very challenging for a tank. Usually they're the ones that are one of the easier ones, like they hardly do any damage, even though there's so many. These guys, usually it's very easy. I can tell that there's a lot slower than using my Omega account. I can feel how the drones are just taking a bit more time per cruiser than you would usually be. That's really the benefits of Omega, like you get that extra edge compared to alpha clones. Really, it is very worth it in my opinion. But you can do a lot with alpha clones. I mean, it's definitely not impossible to do a lot of stuff with them, because I was using an alpha clone myself about a year and a half after I started playing until I became an Omega. So I mean, you can do a lot and have a lot of fun before you need to have the need, or feel like you would have the need to upgrade. But I think it is something that one should consider when they start getting serious about their EVE Online experience. Our tank is not that good. I mean, you can see here we're going through. We're not getting low, but we've gone through a lot of our tank right here, and it has a lot to do with that we've got a big buffer, but not so good regen. If we had purges, it would probably be recharging more. But we went with extender rigs, which is good for getting the massive buffer that will like last a long time, but it's not good for having a good recharge rate, so you can have your shields at max for a long amount of time. I mean, if we look at the stats right here, I think it says that our passive shield 970 seconds to full the whole shield. And that is a long time. That's like 15 minutes almost. So to be honest, I don't think this is a good fit right here. I think it would be better to go with a hybrid fit or some other form of fit, because like the amount of time it like you see this like lost HP right here, it is lost, like it's not going to come back. So if I had like a hybrid fit, at least I would be able to boost this all back up and before the next wave at a reasonable amount of time, instead of waiting 15 minutes for it all to come back up. I mean, that's not even really possible when you're going with passive fit in the Abyss. You need to be within that 20-minute window, you know. Let's see, but the time is decent. The time is decent, and what we possibly could do to aid us is to, if we wanted to, go with an active tank and remove one of the drone damage amplifiers and go with a flux coil, because that could give us really good capacity and allow us to tank a lot more. Time was really great. I mean, we finished the sleeper wave under 5 minutes. Okay, so rogue drone waves with a touch of Triglavians. See how this goes. Went really well in that Ephialtes wave or sleeper cruiser wave before. Hopefully we apply good enough to these Triglavians that we can wreck their faces. It might be good to go with Caldari Navy missiles. One, because of the extra range. Two, because Alpha clones, they have worse application with their missiles compared to Omega. So it might be good with the light missiles that we could get more DPS on frigates if we were with the Caldari Navy. I'm not sure, but I think we might do it. Now, obviously, the extra range is also nice when stuff is a little bit further away. I mean, it's not that crazy, but still. You get quite a bit more DPS though with the Fury that we're using right now. So I would say this is a preferable one to use. But the Caldari Navy might as well be also a preferable one. I just haven't tested it. Damavix in general, they have pretty big signature radiuses, so we do apply pretty decently. Taking a lot of damage right here. See our shields, they're getting a little bit on the low end, but I think it will be alright. I don't think we'll have too much trouble. Hopefully. This is the issue right here. If we were to go to like the next wave and get a really high DPS wave, we're probably going to die because we're already at half shields right here. This is one of the things I don't really like about the passive tanks. They're fully passive tanked. Not hybrid tanks, but fully passive tanks. That when they go to the next wave, if they had like a really bad previous wave, it will affect their next wave because they'll have to waste a lot of time getting their shields back up, or they would have to, you know, suffer the consequences of going with like half shields. And that could be, you know, a bit devastating depending on what kind of wave you've got against you. I'm going for the Damavix because they do a bit of remote repairs, and they also do quite a bit of damage when they ramp up their damage as well. So I'll focus them first. I mean, it's not as crazy as the Vedmax, but it is still something. Force to be reckoned with, these Damas. A force to be reckoned with indeed. Oh, our tank's getting a bit low. Our tank's getting a bit low. Hopefully we won't die here. We definitely need to test more fits. I think an active tank might be good if we just expand a little bit upon it. The issue is just that we're not able to achieve that good tank even with bling. It's quite interesting just seeing like, oh, we only got 400 HP a second with high grade crystal implants, A-type, everything A-type. But I think with that flux coil in the lows, it could really help us out, because then we could put really good rigs, a lot more modules that would aid us. And the exotic sites anyway are pretty quick, so even though we have less DPS, I think it'll be alright. Considering we did that sleeper wave in under 5 minutes, that's a really good time. Yeah, this is not a good fit at all right here. This is... I like the usage of extenders because they give a big buffer, so you can sort of rely on that buffer to have you, if there's like a very difficult wave. It's not like the enemy wave is gonna kill you instantly, but it's very annoying to have a really big buffer and taking a long time to recharge it all up. So purges could be an alternative. Also, something I like about the extenders is that if you have full HP and you go out against abyssal gankers, it is very useful because abyssal gankers, they like to wreck you with really high DPS weaponry before Concord arrives. If you have a big buffer, that's not going to happen, or at least less likely that they will successfully gank you. Some more rogue drones right here. Let's see if we don't get absolutely annihilated, because a lot of spark lances and that previous wave with dammers almost wrecked us. Like, we came close to low shields, but I don't think it'll be that much of an issue because we got Deviant Automatic Suppressor here. I'm not going to intentionally try to go for the Deviant Automatic Suppressor because I feel like it'll be a bit of cheating. We'll see now. How will this play out? Will the rogue drones get under our guns or very close to us and blitz us straight away, blitz our shields? We'll see. Doesn't feel like there are that many rogue drones compared to Damaviks before. Like, I feel like a Damavik is worth more than one of these rogue drones, and we had about the same amount of NPCs before. Shields are getting a little bit on the low end. Alright, finished the wave. Tank was alright. I mean, the dammers really, I think they are where most of the DPS was coming from. Time was also really good. It had a lot to do with the lucky spawns, but most of all, I was impressed with the way we just shattered that Ephialtes spawn in the beginning. That was really, I like that a lot. I'm happy about that. So there's some ways I think we can change the fit to next time. Either we can replace this drone damage amplifier with a flux coil. Or what we could do is we could put a shield power relay and some purges right here, because then we'd have some very good shield HP per second. And now what I mean by this is that there's something called a shield power relay, and affects the passive tanks. They give us extra HP per second. Shield power relay. Okay, Caldari Navy shield power relay. So yeah, 125 HP just like that. Then what we can do is we can put the purges here. Purger 2, 1, 2, 3. So now instead of our shields regenning in 15 minutes, they're done in 5 minutes. If 300 seconds, that is 5 minutes. So that's a lot better than, the really bad 15 minutes we had before. So this could also be an alternative. And something I like about the way we're using a passive tank, well, there are two reasons that I think that the passive tanks in general are, like, if you're able to do them, they're better than active tanks, because one, we've got that big buffer that allows us to survive abyssal gank is easier, but also because we have just generally speaking a cheaper fit. Usually the bling active fits, they're more expensive than the bling passive fits, because Pithum A-type multi-spectrum modules and all that kind of stuff. Here we're not using that. We're not using these really crazy expensive modules. We are using some high-grade Nirvanas, but it's nowhere near the cost of the bling active tanks right here. I might try this or a flux coil next time. We'll see. It'll be the same thing as before, trying to find some alpha clone ready stuff. Alright, so that's it. Experimenting with T5 alpha clone fits that are a bit more on the expensive side than the cheap side. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.